A big number of Maga is saying bye to Trump. What do you think is the reason? Watch this.
We have some big news right now. MAGA Republicans are turning against Donald Trump, and it looks as though MAGA is on the verge of a possible civil war over everything that's happening between the FBI and the Department of Justice and the Epstein files. MAGA is just not satisfied with what the Trump administration is doing and the narrative Donald Trump is pushing himself. You have some of Donald Trump's most loyal people on the internet saying now that he has turned his back on them, on essentially the cause, on MAGA, and it looks like it's only getting worse.
I'm in 2 weeks. I'm done. You want to talk about regretting your vote?
I never thought I'd say that, but I regret my vote. I voted for Trump.
I voted for Trump, and I regret it now.
As a Hispanic, I voted for Donald J. Trump. Dude, I regret it so much, man.
I am regretting my vote for Donald Trump.
I voted for Donald Trump, and now I regret it.
A lot of people who were like me voted for Trump and have to account for that.
I regret voting for Trump.
So deeply regret my vote for Donald Trump.
I regret voting for Trump.
I was a dumbass, voted for Trump. It was the worst decision I ever made.
I've seen the light, and I got out of MAGA. A lot of us there have seen the light. We have deep regrets.
I feel guilty because I voted for Trump twice. I feel very guilty because I feel responsible. That's why he's still running.
I was with Trump for 9 straight years. I'm disappointed. I'm very disappointed in Trump right now.
I am an ex-Trump supporter. I knew this was going to happen. Years ago, during his first run, during his first term, I had issues with Donald Trump. I went into the whole Trump phase because I was very anti-war, and I didn't like Hillary. I didn't like a lot of past presidents of the time. I grew up during the Bush war era. So when Trump was all, hey, I'm anti-war, I'm criticizing everybody, Democrat, Republican, I'm like, I'm gonna give this guy a chance. But then he continued to send airstrikes into Syria. Then there was the $8 billion arms deal, and every time I tried talking about it, Trump supporters just yelled at me, trust the plan, bro! Is the plan working yet? Is it? Fast forward me to burning a MAGA hat on a charcoal grill, roasting some marshmallows. Don't worry, I did not consume said marshmallows. Lost 80,000 followers on my YouTube channel, only to find out I was right. I was right? Huh! Years later to find out I was actually right. Now mind you, I don't want to be right about the situation. I am very, very scared. I'm a military wife. I have no idea what's going to happen with my family, with my husband. But it's times like these, after years and years and years of people telling me how much of a joke I was and how much of a grifter I was, I kind of want to relish in this moment. I'm terrified, but every time I see a post of a former Trump supporter talking about how they're leaving because it's not what they voted for, I tried to warn people. I tried to warn y'all. I really did. I did. I am scared though.
I know you might be thinking, why are they regretting their votes? This is the answer. Watch this.
Hey, why'd you vote for Donald Trump?
Well, to be honest, I wanted no tax on overtime, but I'm starting to regret my decision because I think it's a lie now.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Do you honestly think that's going to happen?
I don't.
Yeah, that's my opinion about that. So, I don't know. I really don't know much about politics, but yeah, I just like to say I enjoy your show and I learn a lot from you.
I appreciate you. One thing I would say is, like, make sure someone has a reputable character. Donald Trump has, like, the least reputable character. I was pretty certain he was lying about that from the very beginning. It sounded like he was just giving off, like, he was literally, like, doing the Republican meme. You know, Republicans are always like, Democrats want to give out free money. Like, that's literally what Donald Trump was doing. Like, they're literally just lying. He was, like, lying about giving out free money.
Yeah, you're right.
Guys, today, February 10th. It's a day I'll never forget. It's the day I regret voting for Donald Trump. Getting rid of all these jobs. I just lost my job after 10 years. 10 years on the research and development team.
I am regretting my vote for Donald Trump.
I want to preface what you're about to see by noting I am not looking for sympathy or validation here. I was just expressing some remorse and some grief and some sorrow, because I think it can help a lot of people to kind of process through that. A lot of people who were like me voted for Trump and have to account for that. There are moments where I'm just overcome with grief and regret. Not anger, not rage, but just grief and regret over having voted for Trump in 2016. And I get that I've come a long way. I get all that. That doesn't take away those moments. It does not take away the regret, the guilt. I mean, I could work through it, and I do that regularly for a lot of different issues, not just who I voted for in 2016, but I just wanted to document this because this is one of those moments. I just saw the Kamala Harris ad talking about how she is the president for all the people and how Trump has a history of wanting to withhold aid from people who didn't vote for him. And I was responsible. I was partly responsible for putting him in office. I was part of that crowd. And that's something I'm going to have to live with. And I will. But there are moments like right now where that can be overwhelming.
Hey guys, I'm back with my multi-part video series on why I am starting to regret my vote for Trump. So this video is going to touch on racism and the mass deportations that are taking place. I just want to start the video by saying I'm not looking to justify my choices or make excuses, simply explaining my thought process and my decision-making process going into the election in hopes that I can reach other MAGAs who are ready to leave the cult. So, let's start with his comments about the cats and dogs. When I first heard that comment, I did think that it was one of the dumbest things that I had ever heard. I never thought that it was true, but instead of doing anything about it, I just kind of brushed it off as a joke, which you definitely shouldn't do. I minimized his behavior by turning it into a joke. And now I kind of want to touch on the mass deportation that's happening right now. So we are told that it's just illegal criminals that are being deported. Like, when I voted for deportations and stronger border control, I did not think that it would happen the way that it is. I truly think that it is illegal. It goes against our Constitution. And that's just how I feel. It's really sad and disheartening that people are okay with everyday people who pay taxes, property taxes, sales taxes, are getting deported for absolutely no reason at all. Maga, this is so hard to see. I don't understand it, and I hope that you guys are just ignorant to it and you're not actually in support of it. But anyways, I want to get back to the part where I just minimized the behavior. We were told it was just illegal immigrants. We were told that they want to protect the women. This is the best way to protect the women. All the criminals are going to leave. You know, it's going to be safer for us. Just remember cases like in Riley. And it was just really kind of shoved down our throats, I guess, that they were protecting women. And I, like many other MAGAs, fell for it. I just wanted to make the country a better place for our citizens. I didn't think that they were going to start deporting literally anyone and everyone that looks different. I don't think it's right to racially profile, which is exactly what they're doing. And I don't agree with it at all. I don't support Guantanamo Bay. Sorry if I did say that wrong. I don't think that prisons should be built. I know I don't want my taxpayer money going towards that. I also just want to point out that Trump's administration said, like, this is for the greater good. And we're protecting families. And only, illegal criminals are being targeted. I still think MAGA doesn't know what's happening or that it goes against our Constitution at all. And I really hope this reaches you guys, because this is really such like a disheartening thing to see. But yeah, that's basically all I have for the racism. I know Trump has been racist towards other cultures. All I can say is I don't know enough to speak on those topics because I was ignorant and I am trying to learn and grow from that. All you can do is learn.
All right, that is it. So now let's see the numbers of people who have already left him. Yeah, let's see the results or the numbers of people who have already left Trump. Here, watch this.
Would you like a lot of good news today? Trump's popularity, his support is tanking in multiple demographics. And it's interesting because Fox News isn't reporting on this. The White House isn't reporting on this. Caroline Leavitt is flat out lying about it. And something tells me that the little creepy weasel, Steve Miller, who really runs the government, is pushing for the National Guard to go into multiple states because he's trying to reverse these numbers and he thinks that's how it's going to be done. Sociopaths aren't smart, So according to the University of Massachusetts Amherst, they found that Trump's handling of the Epstein file has done significant damage to his standing among his supporters. 7 out of 10 Americans believe Trump is not handling the matter well. This includes 43% of self-identified Republicans and 47% of those who voted for him. And of the 47% who voted for him, 28% now disapprove of the job Trump is doing as president. What's interesting is 1/4 of these same voters said that they would not vote for him again. And what this means is this is going to impact the enthusiasm of Republicans to get out and vote in midterm elections. But I'm not done. Pew Research. Trump has lost all of the gains he's made with the Latino community since he first ran in 2016. His support with the Latinos has dropped to 27%. 1/3 of Latino Trump voters said they are now undecided about who to vote for in 2026. So notice, they don't want to vote for Republicans because of Trump. Their focus is the economy. The economy is tanking under Trump, but they didn't say they're going to vote for Democrats. So Democrats, listen up. Another Pew Research poll, 1/3 of Trump's young voters between the ages of 18 to 29, only 1/3 of them approve of the job he is doing. Only 1/3 of young people who voted for him. This is compared to his first few weeks, where 90% of these same young voters approved of what he was doing. Overall, his performance has dropped by 23 points with young young voters who voted for him. This includes former Democratic young voters. Fox News poll, Donald Trump's approval rating with women reverses course. It has declined since June. In June, he lost 16% of the women who voted for him. And now it's at 21%. He's losing ground there. All told, 62% of women now disapprove of the job that Donald Trump is doing. And now a CBS YouGov poll. Trump's support among men is dropping. Just 47% of men approve of the job he's doing. 53% disapprove. More broadly, Trump's approval rating was negative in the majority of states 6 months into his presidency. And finally, a Decision Desk HQ poll found that 70% of black voters who voted for Trump in 2024 disapprove of the job he's doing, essentially eliminating the gains that he made in that demographic for the 2024 election. Nobody's reporting on these numbers, but the White House knows. Republicans know. And this is why they're stealing headlines with the national ground. They think that this is going to energize their base, keep them loving these racists in the White House. But it's always been the economy, the economy, the economy. Will Democrats step into this and step up finally and focus on the economy for everyday Americans and not serve AIPAC and corporate lobbyists?
So the president says things are great. What do the voters say?
No, I think is the answer. 6 months in, the rules of political gravity absolutely apply to Donald Trump, and the USS Donald Trump is taking on a lot of water. What are we talking about? Trump's net approval rating. Look, he started off back in January +6 points on the net approval rating, -3 in March, -7 in May, and now he's at a term too low at -11 points. His net approval rating has dropped nearly 20 points in the aggregate since the beginning of his presidency. The American people do not like what they're seeing, and Donald Trump's administration is in a ton of trouble at this point in the minds of the American voters.
Well, on what issues do the American voters seem to disapprove of him?
They disapprove of him on all of the issues. He's underwater on all the major issues of the day. Trump's net approval rating on all the major issues, -5 points on immigration, his best issue. He's underwater. How about the economy? That was what he was elected for. -14 points. How about foreign policy? -14 points. How about trade and those tariff wars? -15 points. And of course, the Epstein case, the lowest of the bunch, -37 points, 37 points below water. My goodness gracious. On every single issue, Donald Trump is below water on all the major ones. They're all dragging him down. No matter, it seems, what Donald Trump does, the American people do not like it. And that is why at this particular point, he's at a term too low.
It's interesting because this is the issue that may be on the top of many people's minds as members of Congress head home for this extended summer recess.
And it's his worst one.
I'm not sure that House members will be excited to see that number as they leave Washington today. So where does his overall approval rating stand compared to other presidents?
Okay, I do have one piece of good news for Donald Trump, and that there is one other presidency that has a lower net approval rating at this point than this one. The bad news is that it was Donald Trump's other presidency, his first presidency, net approval rating 6 months in. The worst was in 2017. Donald Trump was 16 points underwater. The second worst, however, is this Donald Trump presidency, 11 points underwater. The average president at this point since 1953 has a +27 net approval rating. John, do some quick math with me. It seems to me that Donald Trump is about 40 points lower than the average president at this particular point. He has the second worst net approval rating at this point. He is underwater on all the major issues of the day. The bottom line is 6 months into this administration, I think that most Americans would apply the word or words disaster, terrible, awful, horrible. I think that is the way that the American people would see it at this particular point. He is so far below underwater compared to the average president. The only one he beats out is him in term number one. And I don't think that's exactly the metric he wants to be applying to himself.
All right, that's how it is. My question is, can we expect to see Republicans in the office next time? I don't know. What do you think? Leave a comment below and don't Don't forget to subscribe. By the way, shout out to the owners of the videos that I used in this video. So let's meet in another episode. Peace out.